Take three. This is Kieran, and I'm talking about immigration. Now, let me see. Here's what I propose to stop immigration. See, because I'm not only against illegal immigration, I'm not only against amnesty, I'm also against legal immigration. I'm for anti-immigration. I'm for deportation of former people who were immigrants. Send them away. You know who you send them to? Foreign penal colonies. In other words, yeah. Oh, another thing is that this is all premised off an idea that people have been questioning. Do I have a bad idea? Gee, I wonder. Do I have a bad idea? Well, I have to laugh because it sounds like maybe I have a bad idea, Yeah, maybe forced penal colonies abroad from America might be a bad idea. But there's a reason. One is that where there's hope, there will never be a way to stop immigration. Never. Not a fence, not policy, not borders. You have to take away the hope. And for people, okay, let me put it this way. How dire it is. A Border Patrol agent, I saw this somewhere, I don't know where, who knows. A Border agent was sitting at, I think somewhere on the Rio Grande, a part that was very small, but extremely polluted. I mean, toxic waste polluted, right? So the story goes that I heard. I don't know what the story is. I can't find it. I can't give you the citation. But I remember it clear enough. And he's yelling at her. She's with her two kids. And 4 or 5, just like that poor little drowned boy, right? From Syria. And he's yelling at her. He's going, go back, go back. She won't listen. And she swims over with her children and comes out of this muck, right? I mean, this toxic muck from industrials and waste and everything. He goes, why didn't you listen to me and go back? She goes, because I had no choice. Behind me was only death. There was nothing behind me. I had to risk it. I had to try. I had no choice. And that's the truth. Because the corruption and international policies and who knows what else, that oil and whatnot, it's the way the world is. I guess it was always the way it is, except now we have industrialized nations with cheap oil that will be depleted. And, we're all going to be immigrants soon, if that just doesn't destabilize every Western industrial world and from economics, and, we nuke each other. Even a small nuclear exchange will cause a nuclear winter that will create a downward spiral. You understand that, right? It's like war games all over again, except there's new factors now. Terrorist and limited exchange and global instability from economic collapse. Want to play a game? Here's the new game. And immigration, even violent immigration, is part of this. Now, what should we do about it? Well, one solution I had, considering that lady, and considering those immigrants that drowned recently from Syria, I think it's Syria. Yeah, it was Syria, right? I'm not sure exactly what Middle East state. They go from Syria to Greece and work their way all the way up to Germany. How ironic. Well, the solution, and keep in mind, I'm a futurist who wants a minimum scarcity society. So we're talking like universal health care is the one pillar, affordable housing is the next, multi-zone integrated housing. So there's different levels of economic zoning per area. So there's no slum lords or slum building or projects or anything like that. Everything's cost affordable gentrification, which is part of my view on futurism. Is if you want to look up these words, these terms, is new urbanization, which works and doesn't work. In any case, the point of that is that what we have to do to stop this and have these deportation or penal colonies abroad is to have them integrated with our prison system. Prison, electronic surveillance, and parole. It's not enough to keep them out. We have to keep them detained in a certain area. Where am I talking? Somewhere in the Orient or in Asia. I don't know. Shanghai. Maybe deal with Shanghai. Liberia. It doesn't really have to be race specific. It doesn't have to be like, well, we're going to send all the Hispanics to Puerto Rico and we're going to send all the blacks. Well, blacks aren't freaking... No, that's another subject. They're pretty much behind white Caucasians as the friggin' first settlers. Because they settled too. They just didn't have much to say about it. You know. But yeah, okay, I admit it, I'm for friggin' black penal deportation too. Send them back to Liberia. Of course, they aren't immigrants, so to speak, so, you know, I don't know where you'd send the white people to. So, there's that too. Now, basically, I guess I'm just getting out of immigration and just talking about general prisons abroad and, I can't think of that term. Exile. Just exiling people. You know, deportation with probation. You know, so they can't come back into the country for a certain period of time, if ever. I would say never put forever, because then when you put a certain period, it makes people more of an incentive to just not try to escape and find a way back in illegally, but try to wait out that period. Plus, another thing, and this is hard for me as a futurist, but if you have a post-scarcity society, sadly, you can't have exodus penal colonies, deportation colonies, and not have them be post-scarcity too. You know, people in Elysium live wonderfully. People in the colonies live like third world shit. You know, so that might defeat the idea right there, because really what you're talking about is trying to limit resources as well as putting up a deterrent for immigration, illegal or otherwise. And possibly deportation of citizenship too. So this occurs to me that this might not be a good idea. But frankly, I don't see another solution. It's like the lady coming across the river, or are the people friggin' getting on a rickety boat and going out to sea? I went from a ship when I was a kid. To give you an idea of what it's like, in case anybody doesn't know, beyond the breakers, and they call them breakers for a reason, when there's not an actual storm, but there's a wild sea, waves can dip from 14 feet below to 14 feet above. I was on a big ferry from Catalina Island to San Francisco, and I snuck out on the bow to stand there. I'm surprised I didn't earn a Darwin Award, because that ship was rocking like this. I mean, down and up. The nose was almost touching the water. I mean, I think what they weren't saying to us is that when everyone else is looking out the glass, and I'm like an idiot riding the friggin' bow of the friggin' thing, my feet almost flying off the thing and going into water, and certainly to die, that we were in trouble. You know, that ship was having problems. Maybe. It seemed like it. I mean, you know, a ship does not go like this and like that and like this and like that. Normally. There's such a thing in the sea as wild weather. You don't see it on shows because I guess they can't replicate it, but it gets to be a real roller coaster. That's why you don't take rowboats out to sea. You know, and how people floating in makeshift frigging flotation vehicles survive it's a roll of the dice. Plus currents and other things, man. You know, and plus just people getting lost, or, you know, just a whole bunch of things can happen. You know, and it's like, especially if you start having problems with the vehicle, if you get out into the wild sea, and unless you've really seen it to believe it, or, you know, go look on YouTube on some of those rescue missions where ships are in distress, and see how wild that gets. You know, and those aren't actually full storms either, because you don't survive full storms. Oh, that's another thing, weather. You don't know what weather advisory you have. You can't turn back, and you can't make for a report. You know, with limited or no way to propel your craft, and no radio and radio advisory or someone to come rescue you, you're out on your own. So basically, it's almost suicide. It's a roll of the dice, and the dice are weighted against you. That's how desperate these people are to get somewhere to make it away from where they were, because it's that bad. So we need something that diminishes that hope. And there's just absolutely no reason to go there except to be deported and, you know, well, welcome to America. Now you go to prison for 5 to 10 years, and then you're on probation another 10 to 15 years in a hellhole. Well, that solves the immigration crisis. Of course, you know, there's another crisis of friggin' morality. You know, and plus the actual cost to do this, too. So, I don't know. Seems like a bad idea, but immigration just don't seem like a good one. What's your solution to immigration? Open the border?